Hello class, this is Varsha Patil. Here we started our new unit, that is unit number 4, belongs to the electronic section and the headed as electronic devices, in which in this lecture 1 of unit 4 we are going to learn about the semiconductor theory. Semiconductor theory basically include what mean by semiconductor or a definition of semiconductor based on band gap energy. There must be an energy level diagram which shows the detail about the semiconductor. Next one is a classification of semiconductor, in which there are broadly two classes, extrinsic and intrinsic semiconductor. We will see the concept of doping. By doping we get p-type and n-type extrinsic semiconductor, and lastly we will see the summary of p-type and n-type, or we may call a classification between p-type and n-type semiconductor. First we will see what are the semiconductors. Semiconductors are the material whose electrical conductivity lies between conductor and non-conductor, or non-conductor also named as insulator. Semiconductor can be compounds such as gallium arsenide or pure elements such as germanium or silicon. Or simply, semiconductors are those class of material which is neither a good conductor nor a bad conductor or insulator. Sometimes it behaves like insulator and sometimes it behaves like conductor. So the name is semiconductor, not a pure conductor like routine conductors or all metals, but it is a semiconductor within a certain circumference or within certain situations it behaves like a conductor. Otherwise it may rest as like an insulator. What are their properties on base upon which we called semiconductor? It can conduct electricity under preferable conditions or circumstances. Which are those preferable conditions? We will see. This property makes the semiconductor as an excellent material to conduct electricity in controlled manner as required for the many of applications. Unlike conductors, the charge carrier in the semiconductor arise only because of external energy, that is a thermal ignition. It causes a certain number of valence electron to cross the energy gap and jump into the conduction band. While it leaves the valence band and jump into the conduction band, the empty space is filled with equal amount of unoccupied energy states at call a holes, or simply a positive charge carrier within a material. In semiconductor, conduction due to electrons and hole, which are equally important. What it means? When we apply or when there is a thermal ignition, as by rising a temperature also, the concentration in electrons get disturbed, or few of electron get enough energy to cross their valence cell and jump into the conduction band. Next, what we called holes and electron in semiconductor. Holes and electron are the type of charge carriers which actually contribute for the flow of current in semiconductor. Holes are the positive charged electric carriers, whereas electrons are negatively charged particle in atom. Both electron and holes are always equal in magnitude, but polarity wise it always opposite with each other. In semiconductor, the mobility of electron is higher than that of holes. We seen atomic structures or cell configuration. In that also, electron by nature it have a tendency and ability to migrate around a nucleus or the proton. They are higher the momentum than other positive charge. It is mainly because of the different band structure and scattering mechanism. Here the scattering mechanism nothing but the cell configuration of particular material. As far as we go from K, L, M, N cell, the outermost cell of atom is called valence cell, and the electron present in the outermost atom, which are loosely coupled with their parent nuclei, are called valence electron. Those electrons actually contribute in a conduction of electricity by share pair, by detaching and by accepting another electron to get fulfillment of their octet. We know that the electron in an atom are present at different energy levels. Yes. When we try to assemble a lattice of solid with n atoms, then each level of atom must split into n level in the solid. When we think about the solid structure, then by theory we get a spectrum of that energy bands or energy cells. That spectrum actually we call as energy bands. The splitting of sharp and tightly packed energy levels, which actually forms energy bands. Energy band are such not a big thing. It is a cloud or spectrum of energy or shell in the atomic configuration. The gap between adjacent bands are representing a range of energies that possess no electron is called band gap, or simply the gap between TW2 adjacent bands are called band gap, and corresponding energy which required to fill this difference is called band gap energy. Here the clear vision for valence band and conduction band. Now we reconfigure or redefine the conductor, semiconductor and insulator based upon their energy level or band gap theory. Okay, so we will first see what a valence band and what mean by a conduction band. As shown in the figure, the energy band involving the energy levels. Energy bands are nothing but the energy levels. What type of energy level we consider here? So, first of all, the covalent bond or covalent cell. Covalent cell is actually a valence band because valence electrons are present in outermost cell. Those are actually when become free charge carrier, they contribute in the conduction of electricity. So we take two bands or two spectrum or two energy levels. Call first one is valence energy level, which termed as valence band, and second one conduction band. Now, so how could we can define or how could we can say few line about the valence band are as the energy band involving the energy level of valence electron is called as valence band. It is the highest occupied energy band. Yes. When compared with the insulator, when we talk about the insulator, it allows the electron in valence band to jump into the conduction band. On receiving external energy, more importantly, whenever there is an external force or external energy, by simply rising a temperature, then and then only electrons or valence electron present in the valence band should get enough energy, they could cross the energy band gap and jump into the conduction band. And once the electron comes into conduction band, it becomes free from their parent nuclei, it becomes free from their structure and contribute for the conduction of current or electricity. Next is conduction band. It is the lowest occupied band that include the energy level of positive, that is holes, or negative, that is electrons, charge carrier. It has conducting electrons resulting in the flow of current. The conduction band possesses high energy level and generally empty. The conduction band in semiconductor accept the electron which are liberated by valence band. So, one by one, we could define a conductor. A conductor are those material where there is a no energy gap, as we can see over here. There is a no gap between the conduction band and valence band. They are actually overlapped. As there is no gap, it means electron doesn't require much energy to jump it from valence band into conduction band. Okay. Now the insulator. Insulator are those class of material where there is a large or wide band gap. It means there is a large space between the conduction and the valence band, which is nearly about 15 electron volt. It is so large. So if you think about a conductivity, to gain a conductivity across the insulator, we have to apply a very large scale of energy. So could electrons present in the valence band get it and jump into the conduction band. Then and then only it will possible to conduct the current within the structure. Otherwise, it absolutely no use. Now, let's talk about the semiconductor. Semiconductors are those class of material where the narrow energy band gap, it means there is a small energy gap which is nearly about equal to 1 electron volt. Okay, as temperature goes on increasing or thermal ignition kept over there, then few of electron in the valence band get enough energy to migrate or to jump or to move from conduction and reach out toward the conduction from valence band. Some properties of semiconductors are as follows. The excellent property of semiconductor is temperature coefficient of resistance is negative. The resistivity of semiconductor decreases with rise in temperature because the number of charge carrier increases rapidly, very fastly with increase in temperature, making the fractional change, that is temperature coefficient, is negative. Some of the properties are as follows. Semiconductor can conduct the electricity under some preferable conditions. That condition is when there is a rise in temperature or thermal ignition above some certain value called above room temperature. Then the valence band, which is completely filled, they get energy to jump from valence band toward the conduction band. This unique property makes it excellent material to conduct the electricity under certain or required manner. Semiconductor act like insulator at absolute 0 Kelvin. Yes, it is true. When there is no thermal ignition or no temperature rise, then semiconductor literally behave like an insulator because there are no electrons in the conduction band. That time valence band is completely filled. On increasing the temperature, it works as a conductor. Due to their exceptional electrical properties, semiconductor can be modified by doping. Doping means adding some external impurities to make a semiconductor devices suitable for energy conversions, switches and amplifier. Again, there are lesser power losses. Semiconductors are small in size and possesses less weight. Their resistivity is higher than the conductor but lesser than insulator. It lies between the conductor and insulator. The resistance of semiconductor material decreases with increase in temperature or vice versa. Classification of semiconductor. Broadly, the semiconductor are classified into two categories. Number one, pure semiconductor, next is impure, or pure semiconductor also called intrinsic semiconductor, and by adding some doping or external material we get extrinsic semiconductor. Then question arises, why we add the impurity? Because a semiconductor which is extremely pure form are called intrinsic semiconductor, and nature of this intrinsic semiconductor is such that even a small amount of certain impurity can change their electrical and chemical properties drastically. Due to this fact, the semiconductor would not called a truly intrinsic unless we add the impurity level by very small, which is less than 1 part into 10 to the power 8 part. This much of small impurity, this much of small atom we should have to add in an intrinsic semiconductor to improve their conductive properties, and by adding some external atoms we get a structure called extrinsic semiconductor. Or extrinsic semiconductor we can simply say impure semiconductor. Again, extrinsic semiconductor classified into two depending upon which type of impurity or which type of external material we are going to add. There are two types of impurities. Number one, N type, and number two, P type. Now, what mean by N and P? Here, P type means trivalent impurities. When we add a trivalent impurity in intrinsic semiconductor, we get P type extrinsic semiconductor. The conductivity of semiconductor can greatly be improved by introducing a small number of suitable replacement atom called the impurity, and the process of adding that impurity atom is called doping, which is very negligible, but it changes its electrical property, so we can get a semiconductor behave like a conductor. For that purposes we introducing a impurities. Now, trivalent impurity are those impurity, or trivalent means 3 valence electron present in their atomic structure. Such atom is called a trivalent atom. Which are those atoms? So, gallium, indium, aluminium, boron are the trivalent atoms. And next, if you add the pentavalent, pentavalent means 5 outermost electron or 5 valence electron are present in those material, or fifth group of periodic table elements are called pentavalent. Example for the pentavalents are phosphorus, antimony, arsenic, bismuth. Here picture shows both the impurity types called N type and P type. In first picture we talk about the N type, which is a pentavalent, is extrinsic semiconductor. If you add antimony atom, if Pb stands for antimony atom in pure semiconductor, that is silicon. Si stands for silicon, and we know silicon have 4 valence electron in their outermost shell as per the configuration, and antimony has 5 electron in their external or valence band. So there should be a covalency found in a structure. 4 valence electrons should be shared pair with 4 electrons present in antimony atom. But here one one electron is remaining who don't get a partner for covalency or to form a covalent bond within the structure. If you add so many of antimony atom in the pure structure of semiconductor, then we will find out the large quantity of excessive electron over here. Why we call it excessive? Because silicon only have 4 electrons in their valence shell. So could they can form 4 covalent bond only. The rather remaining one who don't get a share pair by a silicon, they are easy to migrate within the structure. Such electron is treated as free electron and quantity of such electrons are major in the n-type material. So we could call mainly majority of electron and minority of holes. Holes are nothing but a positive charge particles. Okay. Now, if you're talking about the trivalent impurity, it means by simply adding a trivalent impurity. Let's say we take example of boron. Boron have tri means 3 electron in their valence shell. Again the same concept. Silicon have 4 valence electron. Boron have 3. So 3 covalent bond. Here we can see 1, 2 and 3. 3 covalent bonds should be formed. But fourth one electron is not available by side of a boron who will contribute for a silicon atom. So this is the empty space. That empty space is treated as holes. So we can get a comparison type. Here in n type excessive of electron and here in p type excessive of holes are present. So excessiveness we technically called majority. Majority of holes present in p type and majority of electrons are present in the n type. That's why n type material or n type are called donor and p type is called acceptor because here is an empty space. They are waiting for the electron who could form or who can complete the covalency. Okay. Now we get a theory by theory part of view or get a clear understanding. Here are the wording structure of n-type semiconductor and p-type semiconductors. N-type semiconductor in order of our silicon crystal to conduct an electricity, we need to introduce an impurity such as arsenic, antimony, phosphorus into the crystalline structure so as to make an extrinsic or impure. These atoms have 4 outermost electrons in their outermost orbit to share with a neighboring atom and are commonly called pentavalent impurity. Yes, we talk about it. The resultant semiconductor basis has excess of current carrying electron, each with negative charge, and therefore it is referred as n-type material, negative type material. With electron are the majority carriers and holes are the minority charge carriers. When stimulated by external power source, this electron freely from a silicon atom by this stimulation and quickly replaces by the free electrons available from the dopant antimony atom, but this action still leaves an extra electron or the free electron floating around the dopant crystal, making it negative charge. Then a semiconductor material is classed or named as n-type when its donor density is greater than acceptor density. In other words, it has more number of electrons than holes, thereby creating a negative pole as shown in figure. Exactly opposite theory for the boron p-type of basis. And lastly, we will see the summary between n-type and p-type. In n-type are called dopant with antimony atom, p-type with dopant with the boron atom as shown in the figure. Few points are mentioned here. N-type donor are positively charged. There are large number of free electrons which are negatively charged, a small number of holes in relation to the number of free electrons. Doping gives positive charge donors, negative charge free electrons. Supply of energy gives negative charge free electron, positive charge holes present in the n-type atom. When we talk about the positive and negative charge, it means holes and electron. Majority of electron present in n-type material and minority of positive charge present in n-type material. Exactly opposite, majority of holes are present in the p-type material and minority is for the electron, those are negative charge carriers. That's it for the day. Have a nice day. Thank you.